Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the NetJunk podcast. My name is Cliff Ravenscraft, and this is a continuation of my Facebook 101 tutorial series. I'm going to jump us right into the website here. First of all, I just want to point out that you can find this and all of our podcasts over at gspn.tv, and over here in the right, you can see that we have the NetJunk podcast as one of our many shows that are available. Anyway, I'm going to be just responding to an email that I got today regarding these Facebook video tutorials. This is from Barb in Nebraska. She writes, "Hey Cliff, thanks for doing a video tutorial series on Facebook. I've only watched the first two so far, and I don't know if this question was addressed. My question is, do you have to use your first and last name when you sign up? It appears that you do. My concern is that I'm a teacher and I really don't want my students and their parents to know that I have a Facebook page. Can they search for me on Facebook? We had a problem a few years back when our junior high students had Xanga and MySpace pages, and I think it would be frowned upon to have a Facebook page after we made such a big deal about social network sites for our students. I did start a MySpace page and use it only to keep up with my favorite TV show, The Office. I only use my first name and my picture of me as a 4-year-old in black and white. I basically want to join Facebook to keep up with Father Roderick and Greg Willits. Would I be able to keep my profile from being searched? Thanks in advance for your advice, Barb in Nebraska." I just now read this and noticed that she has no interest in keeping up with what I'm doing. But that's okay. We're not here just to be all about Cliff. We're here to help other people. And so that's what I'm going to try to do. Now, I've already responded to Barbara, and she's already got her answer, but I thought it would be an excellent question to talk about privacy. One of the neat things, and I believe I talked about this in, I think it was part 2 of the Facebook series, is that privacy is a real big issue. There are a lot of things in here that you put onto your profile, and you get to choose who gets to see them. So really, if you do not allow somebody to be your friend, then you can set it to where they cannot see you. There are some things by default that if you join a network, for example, if I click on profile, and if I were to join a network, right now I'm a part of no network because I don't live in Cincinnati, Ohio. But anyway, if I were to join a network, anybody who is also a part of that network can at least find and search for me. I think by default. So the question is that you can change all of your privacy settings by going up to the top right hand corner actually on any page, up in the banner there, and then up in the header, I should say. And once you get there, you'll see a privacy overview, and you can edit your settings for your privacy for everything. And specifically, what Barbara was asking for is, if I have this page, I really don't mind sharing my profile and all the things I'm doing, my status updates, what I'm doing with applications, whose wall I wrote on. I don't mind sharing that with the people who I've approved as my friends. Well, one of the things that you can do then is, but she was really concerned about maybe parents or students doing a search for her name and finding her on Facebook. So, for example, what you do here is you go to settings, edit settings under search, and it says who can find me in search. Now you can go through and read all of this stuff in here, and if you're really concerned about privacy, I do encourage you to read all this. But who can find me in a search? And you notice that you can say only my friends can find me when they do a search. And then you can see only allow anyone to see my public search listing, and you can read about what a public search is. There's allow my public search listing to be indexed by external search engines. You can uncheck those, and you can change this to only my friends. And then that way, nobody who is not approved, anyone who is not approved to see as a friend for you cannot see you in any search result. If you go back to if you go back to privacy, you can see that you can also edit your profile and really you can narrow down who can see certain things. So for instance, you might even have some friends on Facebook, and you don't necessarily want them to see what I'm doing or whose wall I'm writing on or anything like that, and you can change all those things to only me. And it is fairly secure. Of course, with any online service out there, you really have to wonder how much security is really there. But to answer your question, you can turn off by going into the search um, options under privacy. You can set that to where nobody can find you in a public search unless they are already approved as a friend for you. And so that is a quick and easy answer to that, but I would encourage everybody to look at their privacy settings if that's something that you're really concerned about. One last note on privacy and security. I am obviously a very open individual, and I share a lot of information online. But if you look at my profile, you'll notice that there are no telephone numbers for me. There's not an address. You can see that I've even taken my hometown. Instead of putting in the actual city that I live in, I just put Northern Kentucky. And I'm very careful about how much personal detail that I put out there. So what you have to do is when you go to set up and you edit my profile, one of the things you want to do is you want to be careful on how much information you put into these fields. Okay, and I would suggest, if you're very concerned about your privacy, that you limit the amount of information that you do put there. Now, one last thing, if you limit the amount of information, you will limit one portion of what Facebook is all about, and that's the ability to find other people who share things with you. For example, I can look, and by clicking on my birthday of January 20th, I can click there and it'll tell me how many other people share my birthday that are listed in my friends or who are part of any of the networks or groups that I'm following. And it looks like I just now found out, didn't mean to click there. It looks like Daniel Lewis, it's possible that his birthday is the exact same day as mine. And by golly, there it is. And that is a very cool feature, to be able to find things. In fact, Daniel Lewis and I just hooked up and talked, I think it was last week for the first time, and it turns out he lives just down the road from me, which is cool because he is a part of the Cincinnati, Ohio network, which is just across the river and really is our closest network regionally that's available. And then, of course, you can find other people who are single or married, or you can find other people who are Christian, or let me give you one other example of this, of the nice searchability of leaving some of these things not private. For example, down here at the bottom, I should have a listing of my interests, and so I can find out who else is interested in podcasting. So, of course, there is a list of all of my friends and some folks who are a part of networks that I'm a part of, or groups that I'm a part of. So this is a great way to search for other friends or find friends that you have that share some of your same interests. It's kind of neat. Perhaps maybe you might have, and this is going to turn a huge result, but favorite TV shows. You might have a lot of friends on Facebook, but you may not know about them that they also watch Lost. And of course, one of my favorite TV shows is Lost. And so it says 57 people who are my friends have listed Lost as one of their favorite TV shows. Now, I happen to know that a majority of all these 228 people in there pretty much like Lost, and that's how they got to know Stephanie and I, through our podcasting of the Weekly Lost podcast. But anyway, they just haven't put that into their profile because they've just kind of limited how much information they put in. But anyway, to answer your question, Facebook is kind of privacy concerned or privacy aware, and you can really check into and change the settings on who can see what, and I really do like that. However, one of the things I will say is that while you could use a fake name and not really give your real name, that is a possibility. My thing about Facebook, and one of the things I love about it, is that I'm not getting to know, Apple Buddy 456 or, Tweeter 549 or lost in Nebraska. You know, I'm actually getting to know my friend Aaron Browser or Paul Cooper or Stephanie Alford. You know, I'm really getting to know Kate Kosterski and Mitchell and all these other people. I'm getting to know their names, and not only that, but I get to see their faces, which I think is really awesome to be able to see their faces and to get to interact with these folks. And so be careful on how much you limit your privacy, but if you're only here to follow up on just 2 people, you can certainly do that, and you can hide yourself from the search by clicking on that privacy tab. That's all for this tutorial. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll bring myself up here and say goodbye to all. God bless, and tell other folks about us. Oh, I need to take these off. I took these off in the beginning because I didn't want the nice old glare there. But anyway, tell other people about us over here at gspn.tv. Again, you can find this and many other podcasts over at gspn.tv. And one final thing here. Father Roderick, I want to say a very personal thank you for your mention on Daily Breakfast 351 of this Facebook tutorial series, and also you had mentioned the podcast about the Macintosh from a recent convert or switcher to the Mac, and it's not a fanboy podcast. That's the Help I Got a Mac podcast, also available over at gspn.tv. And I just want to encourage all of my listeners, if you're looking for a daily, entertaining podcast from a Catholic priest in the Netherlands, I'm not Catholic myself. You can find that out by listening to me. But I love Father Roderick, and I love everything that he and the guys over there at sqpn.com are doing for the Star Quest Production Network. Greg and Jennifer, hello to you guys too over there at SQPN, and congratulations to all of you over at SQPN for winning 3 of the Podcast Emmy Awards, or whatever those things are called. I think that's totally awesome. You guys rock. Anyway, come back more for some more Facebook tutorials at the Net Junk Podcast here. I need to shut up now. Talk to you later. Bye.